How's it going, everyone? It is Wednesday, June 26th, 2024. Let's take a look at the picks from the video yesterday. So I gave two picks, or I guess I gave one pick for a long, which was Carvana. So when the video came out on Carvana, it was somewhere over here in the trend, looking good. But at the time, if we put up maybe the SPY overlay, and I will make this a little bit darker so you guys can see. All right, so if you put up the SPY overlay here, right, market's going down, stock is going up, excellent. That's what came back on our scanner. Pulled back a little bit, so we see some selling. And then market starts to take off over here, and here's when we start to get some relative strength. And the stock market's cracking down, and then stock is gaining some relative strength. That tells us that there's some buyers in here, there's some heavy volume. We get the breakout over here. Not a bad time to get in the stock. Grinds up higher, and then you could pretty much ride this all the way up until the target over here. So here's one entry point on the breakout at 310. Second entry point, if you have a relative strength cross, you could enter over here as the stock is gaining relative strength. Third entry point is if you want to get in on this LRSI cross over here. It's a decent point, but it is not very relatively strong, so that's not really a point I would take. I'd probably enter on this breakout and then set a target out maybe for like $1, $1.50, and then that is a nice win on Carvana. All right, so now that we got at Carvana, let's take a look at our swings. We have U short, and let's zoom out over here to the daily chart. So yesterday we got a bearish engulf, pretty decent volume off the 8 EMA. That's what we like. Today we're seeing a little bit more buying, and let's zoom out a little bit over here, maybe to the M15. So you can see that market hasn't really been doing anything for the past couple of days. So this stock pulled back over here. We got some selling pressure, hit around 1590-ish, came back up, and then sellers came back and again forming this double top. So we think we have to shake out a couple of more buyers on this move. And I think that makes sense. This move, we had some decent volume over here, some decent volume over here. So it may take a couple of knocks to shake out these buyers. But once they do get shaken out, and we break through that low of the day, so I'm going to set an alert right here, break through the low of the day over here, I think we're going to get that next move down. So Unity is still looking good. We're in that pullback phase, but I think we're close to the end of that pullback phase, and I think probably starting the beginning of the next down phase. So those are the cycles that I see in the trend. Overall, still not worried about this position. It's still been in profit. The worst scenarios that we've been able to scratch out of the position because we got a great entry. So we took some profits along the way, bounce back over here. When we see some more ensuing weakness and it starts to fall, that's when we want to enter. And again, the worst case scenario is that we exit at that double bottom over here. All right, so that is you. And this is definitely a longer term swing than I originally expected, but we got a few days of the move, pull back, and then we got the next round coming in over here. AEO yesterday, and I think I mentioned this in the video, that I wanted to see, we had a green candle here. I wanted to see something like this where we touched this AVWAP-Q on the top of this downward sloping trend line, the top of this channel, and then rejected and formed a bearish hammer. And that's exactly what we got on AEO. So I'm going to go back to the M5 chart. I'm going to take out the SPY overlay for right now. What you need to know is just the market didn't do anything. That's the most important part. So we broke through over here, and here we're testing the top of this trend line. Test, 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 test. Back and forth, back and forth. Can't really get anything going. And you might think, oh, this is neutral. Well, this is neutral, but it's after a bullish move, right? So here's the bullish move. And before we transition to a bearish move, there's a period of consolidation, and that's what we saw over here. And then we broke through that consolidation today. Or yesterday. Today we had a gap down. We tested this breakdown, this gap over here, filled it back down, and now we're just kind of chopping and compressing down close to the bottom of the day. Not a lot of volume, but we're starting the beginning of that down phase. So we're still watching AEO We had these pullbacks over here. It did end up making a new low. This has been a bigger pullback than we've seen before. So we're being a little bit more cautious, but I think at the very least, I have a pretty good opportunity to take the worst case scenario is I think we can take a smaller loss. I do think there's still a pretty good chance of us scratching, and a still pretty good chance of us getting small profits at the low of the day. And my original target over here, there is maybe a chance that we get into there, but I'm not sure. We're going to have to see. I may have to move that closer depending on how the stock moves down. So let's take out Carvana and let's take a look at what the market is doing today. So, yeah, a lot of, try to move this around a little bit over here just so you can see the price action more clearly. So a couple of lines here. The main thing you have to know is that the market is not doing anything really. Past couple of days, look, 21st, 24th, 25th, 26th. Market has been compressing for the past 4 days. Not really doing anything. The other key is that it is below this range here, this horizontal compression from June 12th. So we're chopping around this range, and these blue lines are intraday lines that represent kind of just the back and forth action on these stocks. So that's what we're seeing daily chart. Again, long term, we're still pretty bullish. Let's redraw this over here. We're still mildly bullish on the long term. The short term, I'm more neutral. Market hasn't been going anywhere. I really don't know if we're going to go up or down. The volume is light. We're at the all-time high, and a lot of stocks have been, very narrow selection of stocks have actually been moving downwards here. So, or moving upwards, sorry. It's really been a tech-led rally. Let's look at QQQ, right? It's been leading the charge up for the past month or so. Let's look at RSP, which is equal weighted. Take out the tech bias, stock is, all the other stocks are pretty flat. So that's kind of our clue that there's a narrow concentration happening. All right, so let's zoom in a little bit more here. M30 chart. Again, I've really just drawn the lines for kind of support and resistance. So, if we draw it maybe at the lows here, this is sort of the range I see. Fairly choppy range. It's not very well defined, and there's a lot of fake breakouts over here. I think you could draw it something like that. And you can even draw maybe something here on that level. So here is our fake breakouts of that range. I think that's a pretty good defined range there on the market. Now, zooming into the intraday. Well, yesterday we know we had a pretty choppy day. Bottom of the range held, snap back up. Today, gap down, very low volume over here. Filled in the gap, rejected. Not a lot of volume on that candle. Moved up higher. We got a move down, but this is very low volume on this move over here. Market rally back up, and it's just this back and forth chop. You really need stocks that are going to ignore the market because the market isn't really doing anything. There's just a ton of garbage over here, ton of low volume stuff, and really we just get these pivot points. See these high volume spikes, right? These high volume spikes at the end of this moves, these are actually pretty predictive, right? We get this high volume spike, and this is a high volume doji that's saying, look, we made this big move, and we're just unable to advance much further. More light volume, and then we get the sell-off over here. Bullish engulfing candle on heavy volume. Okay, we get a little bit of follow-through. Bearish engulfing candle. So it's just like back and forth chop. The moment you feel like you're going to go short, it goes long. The moment you feel like you're going to go long, it goes short. So you really have to be one step ahead of the market over here. So very, very, low probability conditions. My market bias is a 0. I got 2 picks today. Well, I got 1 pick for sure, and the other pick we're going to find out. First one, MU earnings time spread. I took the 142 calls for an 83-cent debit. You might be able to get a slightly better price right now. But here's why I like the spread. So first of all, we got a decent price. It's not too cheap. The expected move is 16, but the average move is 5. right? So it's very, it doesn't really exceed that move. But the biggest thing is that it rarely exceeds earnings. It's actually zero. So in the past 12 quarters, it has never the average move has never exceeded that expected move. So that is really huge. So market makers are baking in a 5% move based on the option implied volatilities. The difference between what other people are betting and what the market makers think is pretty high. So times exceeded is 0, and when it's 0, I like to have a difference of at least 0.5. That puts me at a good price. Now you can see all of these actually, I mean, this is pretty close. Depending on your criteria, you might take it. Doesn't quite fit my criteria, although it's close. So WBA is not too bad. BB, BlackBerry, actually does fit the criteria, but the price is just way too low. You're not able to get a meaningful percent difference. Doesn't really go too much. So on something like this, where the price is higher, your debit paid is going to be higher per contract. So you're actually able to get more IV crush in terms of dollar movement. The percent movement translates to real dollar and contract movement. And we have really nice option liquidity. So MU time spread is going to be one pick of the day. We're going to add that to our YouTube picks. I'm setting a profit target for 40% on the open, so I expect that to get filled on the open. Maybe it can get filled today. I'm not sure, but just have that target out and see if it can get filled today. Let's take a look at some stocks that are doing pretty well. And I got some nice alerts that just triggered. So let's see some nice bullish picks over here. Tesla is breaking out. And let's look at Tesla over here. Yeah, grinding up higher. So pull back to this breakout level, pushing up higher. I'm looking to see the price action over here. And I'm just making these a little bit more smaller so I can see the chart better. Okay, so we got some decent price action. Some decent volume. It's pretty choppy. It's pretty good, but I don't want to see this wick over here above the all-time high. I like to see it actually have a close above that. So I'm gonna set an alert here. That could set up. Amazon was pretty nice. Let's look at Amazon. We got an HA bullish reversal over here. Yep. So we got that alert right over here at 130. So I missed my entry, but that has been grinding up higher. Definitely a pretty nice pick today. That could be the pick of the day over here. Another one that I liked was Hut. Yeah, Hut is okay. It's digesting the gains, but I have an alert set at the high of the day. Or really, actually, I should set an alert over here. That's really that resistance point. So if Hut can get through that level, I'm interested. If it can't get through that level, I'm not interested in the trade. But what I like on the D1 chart is that the stock is actually going parabolic, and it has a ton of volume. And it's just getting through all of these major levels over here. So it's something I'm keeping an eye on. I may try a more spec size on Hut just because it's going parabolic. And these moves, when they have heavy volume, they can really break through a ton of TA. And they're breaking through a really major trend line. So keeping an eye on it. If you're unsure how to do these plays, do paper or one share or read Pete's article on parabolic moves. Those do pretty well. Apple pulling back here. We got the LRSI alert. Not a ton of relative strength. This is a decently sized pullback. And so far the response has been weak. I do like this double bottom over here. This is a prior support level. And it's coming back over here. I think Apple definitely has a shot to test this high of the day. Or at least over here. So yeah, I don't even know if there's gonna be $1 in this stock, unfortunately. So yeah, not crazy about Apple. I think it's okay. I'm looking at mRNA here. This was a nice short. I took a nice one on this earlier today, and this is setting up really well. We're just riding this trend lower. Now it's probably gonna stall here, maybe reverse. You're seeing that we're getting some really rising volume, and then right here we got one of the highest volume candles of the day, but it's a doji. So this is probably where you want to get out of the trade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give two picks. I'm going to give Amazon on an HA reversal alert, and I'm going to give mRNA short. So I'm going to write all these down here. Amazon long on an HA reversal, long day trade. And then I'm going to say mRNA short. And those will be the two picks. for the day in terms of your day trading opportunities. And then finally, MU time spread. We're going to try to get 40% on that guy. So, yeah, those are the picks for today. Keep it short and sweet. Still keep it light. I'm sticking to day tradings. Earnings time spreads are neutral. And just mark some charts. Look at some stocks that have good premium. Let's even get a list ready for your premium selling strategies. That way, if the market does drop, you can get in and you have those stocks ready and you can get in at some good prices. So thanks for listening, everyone, and we will take a look at these picks on tomorrow's video.